Hey everyone, welcome to the Bruce Williams channel. In hand today is the Tissot Heritage 1938 chronometer. And this is a beautiful watch from Tissot, which is a brand owned by the Swatch Group. And I think this really packs a powerful punch when it comes to value. I think you get a lot for the retail price. Now, when it comes to Tissot, the PRX really dominates. They dominate the conversation with several of their models, and rightly so. It's a great design. It's very solid, but there are other excellent models from Tissot, and this is an excellent example. Now, sometimes I'm asked by acquaintances, "Hey Bruce, what's a good watch that I would recommend for them?" And they're not a crazy watch collector like I've been over the past however many years. They're getting into watches. They're learning about watches. They want to maximize the value. They don't want to budget a ridiculous amount of money. This is a watch that I recommend. This is on the list. And depending on what type of style that they're looking for, this is at the top of the list. Now, what makes this Heritage 1938 chronometer so strong? I think it comes down to four different things. First is this copper/salmon rose dial. Tissot calls it pink, but it is so beautiful. It's very dynamic. I think it's a strong element of the overall design. And the second thing that makes it so strong is this COSC certified movement. You'll note Chronometre on the dial, meaning this is a chronometer, a certified chronometer. I think that's a positive thing too. And then the third thing that makes it so strong is the fit and the overall presence of the piece. And then rounding out the reasons is this vintage inspired design that's versatile and balanced and legible. So let's break down these four things in slightly more detail, and then I'll talk about drawbacks to the overall watch as I wrap up the presentation. Now, starting with the dial, the color, the light play here, it's so good for the price. In some lights, it's a darker, deeper bronze, and then in other lights, it's bright, it's eye-catching. We have concentric circle texturing on the outer railroad track. The rest of the dial is a very subtle frosted finish or sandblast finish. I think the watch has great contrast with your applied Arabic markers that are done in black. They raise off of the plane of the dial to a nice degree. They're not super tall, not super noticeable, but I like the Open 6 and the Open 9. The font is not stylized, so I feel that it's timeless. I like the fact that this has the old style Tissot logo, and I think the Chronometre text matches the old style Tissot logo pretty nicely. The hands are also black, they're long, they're dimensional, and they're slightly reflective. I really have nothing negative to say when it comes to the detail work. If you pull out a loop or you have a macro lens for your camera, I think you'll enjoy all of the crispness that is at play here on this dial. And it's enhanced by the fact that the sapphire crystal that covers the dial has some nice ARC applied to it. And that does make a difference. Now, the next thing that's really strong is this COSC certified movement. And that's rare when it comes to a sub $1,000 priced watch getting this certification. It's not unheard of. It does happen, but it doesn't happen very often. And I like the fact that this is certified, that this is accurate, that this has gone through some nice testing. And the caliber that Tissot has chosen here is the 2824-2. And I will say this is not a Powermatic 80 variation of the caliber. So this has the classic 4 hertz beat frequency or the higher beat rate, meaning that the seconds hand starts and stops 8 times in between every second. So it has a noticeably smoother sweep than a Powermatic 80, say PRX model from Tissot. This also has Edochron regulation, which is nice and simple and easy to use. And this does have the lower power reserve value of 38 hours as opposed to 80 on a Powermatic 80 variation. So honestly, I like the fact that they went with the trusted, tried and true 2824. And, this is a caliber that has a lot of history, and any watchmaker can service this movement. It's not one that you have to send back to the manufacturer, although you certainly could do that. So this is visible behind a sapphire crystal in the reverse of the watch. It's not fully decorated. In fact, it's a pretty basic, undecorated movement, but I would expect that at this price. The thing that's unexpected is the fact that it is a chronometer, but I will say the rotor is very pretty with the striping and the brushing and the gold tone to the rotor color. So that's a very strong point of this watch. The next thing is the fit and the presence. This watch clocks in at a versatile 39 millimeters in case diameter, and I think that works well with this vintage style. It's only 11 millimeters to the top of this domed sapphire crystal, so the watch wears thin, it sits flat on the wrist, but it doesn't wear too small, which, is something that I personally don't like. I know not everybody agrees with me, but for reference, for visual reference, my wrist is 7.25 inches. I like them a little bit larger, and this one looks very proportional on my wrist. And with this copper tone dial, this rose dial, it really has excellent presence. Depending on the light that you're looking at this, really it lights up or it gets dark. I think the overall design is versatile. This has a quick release style strap, a gray leather strap with a little bit of texture to the cow leather. So if you wanted to play with, say, different types of leather or shell cordovan or whatever you're really interested in, I think you could play with the feel very easily and change it up to pleasing degrees. Now, the last strong part I'd like to talk about in more detail is the vintage-inspired design. I love this thin, retro-style crown with a very faint coin edging. I think that's really nice. It has pleasant winding action. This is a push-pull style crown. This does not have crazy water resistance. This is not a screw down or a thread down style crown. I don't need that type of water resistance on a timeless vintage design like this with this rose or this pink dial. So I think the overall design is just spot on. I really like everything about it, how symmetrical it is, how easy it is to read, and how versatile it is. Now let's end the video with some drawbacks. I mentioned that the ARC is pretty good, but it could be a little bit better. You'll notice outside in natural light, some of the reflections become distinct at certain angles, so that could be improved a little bit. And then I also would love to see some more decoration in the movement with blued screws and purling and striping. I think that could be very exciting, especially for someone who's getting into watches and wants a really solid Swiss piece. I don't think any one of those aspects is real cause for concern because Tissot is trying to hit a price point. If they had better ARC, if they had full movement decoration, it would raise the price. Again, the price is why this is so intriguing, because you just don't see watches like this at the retail price. It really is fantastic. Now, talking about the price, this watch is lent in by Saltzman's Watches in Newport, Rhode Island. They're an authorized dealer for Tissot, and they lent this in for a review, but they also gave me a discount code for those of you watching. Now, full disclosure, I do not get a commission. This is just a nice discount code for my viewers. The code is BW20. That will get you 20% off, and that brings this watch, which is $825 full retail, to well under $700. And considering all of the nice things about this watch, that is a criminal steal of a deal. That's a great value proposition. Now, this is brand new, full factory warranty, ready to go. Links will be below. Let me know if you have any specific questions. Thanks for watching today. I'll see you next time.